Okay, we're going to call to order. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Thank you, no, thank you. I'm fine. This is, are you ready to proceed with the docket? Okay. Today is November 5th, 2015. This is the 1 p.m. docket of the Board of Liquor License Commissioners for the City of Baltimore. The first item on our expedited docket is Jayatri Singh, LALG Inc. That trade name is pending at 2696 Wilkins Avenue. This is a Class D beer, wine, liquor, an application for transfer of ownership.
Council.
It's right here. Abraham Hurdle for LALG at 2696 Wilkins. With me is Gayatri Singh, who will be the licensee at this location. This is an in-location transfer. It is my understanding this license has been either active or at this location, I think, since licenses were available. It's been a long, long time. The current owner, Ruthie Monroe, is looking to retire. She's looking to move to Florida. My client does have some experience. I can proffer or ask her a few questions if you'd like.
Proffer.
She spent 2 years working with her husband at his location on Fayette Street, which is a liquor store. This is a tavern, though, a D license. She's not TAM certified yet, but she will be before she picks up the license, of course. She'll also get her background check. I'm trying to see if there's anything else that we need here. No, I would proffer that she is a fit and qualified applicant for the transfer of the D license at 2696 Wilkins Avenue.
Madam Secretary, did you make note that she needs to have the certificate and the background check?
Yes, sir. And also to correct the report, there was no letter from the neighborhood as part of the file. I think that was an error and as our fault. But everything else seems to be in order in regards to this application.
Have you spoken to the neighborhood?
When we check the community database that the city has, and you plug in any community groups that encompass this location, none actually show up. If any had reached out to me, we would have been happy to talk to them. If any reach out to my client after the license transfer occurs, we'd be happy to communicate with them and be an active participant.
Is she making any renovations to the property?
It's a very old property. It's my understanding that the only difference is the bar is going to be pushed forward from the wall a little bit. The space between the wall and the bar is very narrow.
No question.
Yes.
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 Thank you.
Have a good day.
Okay. The next item is Lisa Markovich, West Madison LLC, trade name West Madison Ale House and Wine Bar at 307-11 West Madison Street. This is a Class BD7, beer, wine, and liquor, an application for transfer of ownership.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman. Peter Previs on behalf of the applicant, Lisa Markowitz. Ms. Markowitz has owned the property 307 0911 West Madison since 1996. She bought the bar back when it was called Kavanaugh's. She's continued to own the building since then. Recently, she sold the business but continued to be the landlord to Mr. Singh and Waterstone Bar and Grill, Inc. That hearing was in February. Mr. Singh did not make a go of the business and has given the keys back. And Ms. Markowitz is taking it back and has decided that she needs to run her own business, and if somebody's interested in buying the building and the business, then she would consider it. But she's going to actively operate the business. She's a city resident, has been for quite some time, owns the property, and will be a hands-on operator of the business.
Certified?
She has been certified as alcohol awareness. Is it
John
current?
Murray. John Murray,
It is.
yes.
It is current. She was a licensee on the current license as well. She acted as a city resident.
Okay.
Any liens against the current license?
Any liens? It looks like sales tax weren't paid for 3 months, and we're aware of that, and we're gonna have
How
to
about
get
the
straight.
distributors?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
I didn't see anything in the file. If it is, we're gonna
Okay.
take care of it.
So he went, is it closed now?
It's closed now.
When are you reopening it?
As soon as we can,
As soon as you get the
as
license?
soon as we can.
So no renovations and,
Not necessary now.
Look, other questions? That's a yes with me.
Yes.
yes.
Have a good day, Mr. Craig.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Thank
guys.
you.
Have a good evening.
Cardinal Tavern. Well, this is Cardinal.
Justin Hostesser and Omar Black, NBH Enterprises, LLC. Trade name is Cardinal Tavern. This is at 901 South Clinton Street. A Class BD7, beer, wine, and liquor. An application for transfer of ownership and a request for outdoor table service. To add to this file, I did receive a letter of support from Dan Tracy of the Canton Community Association. I provided that to the board as part of the file.
Counsel.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. I see you already have the letter of support from the Canton Community Association. Stephen Fogelman on behalf of the applicant, Justin Hostetter, Omar Black. Mr. Black's already been on the license for years. Mr. Hostetter is coming on as investor and an operator, and nothing's really going to change. It's close to Highlandtown, close to, not far from your office on Clinton Street, not far from my home in Canton. It's a well-managed establishment that serves very good food and also has a good selection of alcoholic beverages. Mr. Hostetter will be alcohol certified before any drop of alcohol is served here. And if you have any question of the applicants, And one final note, Mr. Hostetter is from Lancaster, Pennsylvania. However, he has moved to Baltimore City, to Canton, about 2.5 blocks from the bar, which I always consider a good sign.
That's a good sign. Maybe you didn't like all the buggies up there. Did you ride your buggy down? It's supposed to have a little flashy light in the back, you know.
Wheeling Street. Who's on the license?
Mr. Black and Mr. Hostetter here.
That's fine.
Just Steve to note that we also did receive a copy of the outdoor seating guidelines as part of that email.
Yes, thank you. And indeed, the applicants do, as the current licensee, has adhered to the Canton Community Association outdoor dining guidelines, which, among other things, call for the calls for food to be a preference at the tables and calls for the opening and closing down of those tables. And they indeed do agree to and abide by those restrictions, and would have no problem whatsoever making them a voluntary license restriction or having language placed on the license.
And just for the record, that's what the letter says from Mr. Flanagan in terms of what you just said.
Thank you.
problem.
Yes, yes,
Yes.
yes.
I thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thames Street.
This is Ryan Perlberg, Rye, trade name, Rye LLC, trade name Rye. This is at 1639 Thames Street. A Class BD7 beer, wine, liquor, an application for transfer of ownership, and a request for a request for live entertainment.
Counsel?
Good afternoon. Steve Fogelman on behalf of the applicant Ryan Perlberg. Mr. Perlberg is currently on a liquor license at Rye down the street at 811 South Broadway. Well, actually, in the neighborhood at 811 South Broadway. Mr. Perlberg is going to take steps to remove himself from that license prior to the issuance of this license. Mr. Perlberg is an experienced operator in hospitality. He has interest in Stuggies, which is well-known hot dog and food-only establishment. He's also been involved in Rye at 811 South Broadway and in another venture next door. He's no stranger to the business. He's alcohol certified currently, and he'll be the full owner of the business. Last night, and I'm sorry, should have told you, last night, the Fells Point Residents Association unanimously voted to support the transfer. I don't have any documentation, but I know David Martz, and he would let you know if that was not the case.
You're the attorney, you're making the profit.
Exactly.
So you're on the hook.
That's right.
Live entertainment?
Yes,
Already approved,
live
right?
entertainment is long-standing at Ledbetter's, and yes, we'd ask for
Right,
the
got it.
same
I just want
treatment.
to make sure that's on the record.
Sure.
And just to also note from Mr. Fogelman's testimony that on October 9th, there is a letter in regards to Mr. Perlberg trying to remove himself from the Old Willow license, which is at 811.
Right, and I thank you for the courtesy of scheduling the hearing now. It's something that was customary in the past, and I appreciate it, though.
No problem.
Any violations at all?
No, this isn't a, this is a outstanding transfer. It was previously approved for another transfer for Ledbetter's that fell through and back in March of 2015. And now this is a new owner buying the license. So it's still in operation as I understand, and they've been operating as a
Absolutely.
licensee.
Open today.
Okay.
Yes, yes, 3 yeses.
Thank you very much.
Next one, Madam
Okay,
Secretary.
yes, next one. I'm writing slower than I'm going
Okay,
today.
That's okay. Take
It's
your time.
Lydia Fitzsimmons, Mary Kazmaskis, and Fasios Yanaknoris, and that's EMF Inc. Trade name is Cipriana, 116 West University Parkway, Class B, transfer of ownership, request for live entertainment, and outdoor table service. I do have a recently emailed on this location from the Tuscany Canterbury Neighborhood Association, a letter of support for this particular licensee, but with some conditions, and I believe that Mr. Fogelman will also provide that too.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I'm Stephen Fogelman on behalf of the applicants. Yes, I have received the correspondence. Ms. Bailey Hedgepeth, I think she'd emailed them over to me about 4 or 5 minutes after they were received by the board this morning. Mr. Yanoris, Ms. Kamakis, Ms. Fitzsimmons, they're serious business people. Mr. Yosoris, known as Vasos, and Ms. Kamakis have long-standing history as food service providers here in the city of Baltimore. Over 25 years. They operated Cipriana on East Baltimore Street previously. They go all the way back to the University of Maryland Hospital. They've had food service in that vicinity. So they are lifelong people who are interested in bringing good food to the city of Baltimore. Now, La Familia was the restaurant in the Broadview Apartments previous to its vacancy and the lease being signed by the folks here for Cipriana. La Familia was a family restaurant. I believe it was an Italian restaurant. It never had any violations whatsoever, no deleterious history, I would say. And in fact, just in a brief history lesson, which I went down this path in order to make a case for my client, I have the card file for the license going all the way back to 1964, when it was the Broadview Apartments Dining Room Incorporated for many, many years. And in that time, there was never a single allegation of any kind of violation whatsoever over the course of several licensees. However, in 1981, interestingly enough, there was a protest of renewal filed by some neighbors, and the resolution to it was that the dining room had to stay open when the bar was open to make sure it didn't turn into a pub. So there's nothing like a pub down there in the last 25 years, to be sure. It's a family, it's got a history as a family restaurant. And so I say that because we sat down for quite some time, for over an hour, with the members of the Tuscany Canterbury Neighborhood Association. And we listened to their concerns. They had concerns eventually about noise and about underage drinking. And as far as the noise went, I think my clients were extremely receptive and responsive to minimizing any possible deleterious impact on the community. And so they agreed to terminate outdoor live entertainment by 9 p.m. each weekday, and by 11 p.m. on Sundays and holidays. On Sundays, excepting holidays on Sunday nights, which would go to 11 o'clock when it was a federal holiday on the following day. However, in the course of this, and this is where I asked the board for some consideration here. As you know, being able to serve alcohol is essential to your competitiveness in business. And I believe, as you do, that a liquor license is a privilege rather than a right. But once you've acquired that privilege, then there are certain rights that attach with it. And one of those rights, as a matter of law in Article 2B, is that Class B restaurant licenses get carry-out privileges. They have the ability, outside of the 46th legislative district, everyone else in the city of Baltimore, every restaurant you can name, everyone you can think of pretty much, they have the ability to sell a bottle of wine to go. And so the Tuscany Canterbury Neighborhood Association said, we'd prefer if you didn't have carry out. And we said, we understand what we're trying to fix here, which is possible underage drinking. But if you look across the street at the Ambassador Dining Room, they, like La Familia and like Cipriana will be, are grown-up places, for lack of a better term. They're fine dining restaurant, and neither the Ambassador Dining Room nor this place has ever been accused of having kids trying to take alcohol to go in all their years. And in fact, Hopkins Deli is also within a block or two of these establishments. And I would thinking back a long, long time, that if I were a student, the Ambassador and Cipriano are the last two places I would go to try to purchase alcohol. So all of that having been said, the lack of history or allegations of serving underage drinkers at this location, I want to let you know you can expect the same level of vigilance from these applicants as you could from the prior applicants or the good applicants at the Ambassador Dining Room. My clients just want to be treated similarly as all the other restaurants do in that part of the city. I've explained to them that this board takes allegations of underage drinking extremely seriously, and that Commissioner Trotter, that I believe you live not terribly far from the neighborhood. So I wanted to say that to them as their attorney, but as far as underage drinking, these aren't the droids you're looking for. So I can promise you that they understand the gravity of underage drinking. In that regard, they are not in a position to agree to no carryout. However, they're in complete agreement with the other request, and that is the cessation of live entertainment at the hours prescribed in their correspondence to the board.
Just to clarify along the same lines, just to clarify the application then, of food and or alcohol, both yes and no. And then live entertainment, you have checked off yes and no.
Oh, okay. For live entertainment, absolutely. And I believe that was advertised, and I believe that also exists currently on the license. And so I'm sorry about that typo. As far as delivery, this is for carry out. This isn't for delivery, I believe, refers to taking the liquor off premises and delivering it like a pizza. And they're not planning to deliver booze.
We have residents in that building.
Hold on.
They
If
have
Oh.
they're going to testify, we're going to have them sworn in.
Sure, and that may have to happen. But I'm sorry, but they're saying that they want to have the right to deliver to the residents in the Broadview apartment building in which the restaurant is operating. And so,
Let's just do this to be safe, Mr. Fogelman. Let's have all three of these folks sworn in, and then you can ask whichever one you want, and you can lead them,
okay.
okay? So, Mr. Court Reporter, would you swear these three folks in,
Okay,
please?
because it says.
Raise your right hands, please.
You can
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Okay, Mr. Fogelman, you can lead whichever client you want as long as they identify themselves for the record, one at a time, so that he can get it.
All right, and and I'll be happy to. Before I do that, I just want to make it clear that the prior license at La Familia also apparently allowed for delivery to the
Carry out
residents.
It allowed for.
Delivery of alcohol and food or just?
Alcohol. I mean, when we're dealing with liquor license. So, yeah, alcohol was allowed to be delivered to the residents. And so,
And it's a process as far as we do add it on as an administrative process for the licensees. At this point, what I'm looking at from the standpoint of the use and occupancy, it has the portion of the premises have a full service bar and carry out, live entertainment, or permitted in the bar or dining room hours to be constant. So those are the restrictions that are on the license now, which they're asking to be carried over. So that wouldn't be inconsistent with delivery or carry out. So I think that shouldn't be a problem as long as that's what they're asking for. I'm just trying to confirm that that's what the current license allows for.
Okay, so what I want to know is, what are we doing with this?
well, my clients agree to the first set of the 2 points, which is that they will cease the live entertainment at 9 o'clock Sunday through Thursday nights, with the exception of when federal holidays fall on a Monday, and then they will cease live entertainment on all Friday and Saturday nights at 11 p.m.
So this document is, it's
Not been-
invalid.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
been signed by
Right.
them, and there are other portions that, so what
Other
you're,
portions that not shown.
yeah, so what you're tendering, what you're proffering is what your clients are agreeable to, apart from this.
Right. After extensive discussions with them, they don't understand why they shouldn't be afforded the same rights under the law that dozens and dozens of other restaurants in the city have. And
Okay.
they understand there's a proximity to a university there, and so they're going to be extra vigilant so that it doesn't become a problem.
I just want to be straight so that the record's clear, so that all outdoor entertainment will terminate at 9 p.m. daily, with the exception of Friday and Saturday, when it will be terminated at 11, period. End of story, right?
Well, what I had said is that they be allowed to have music until 11 p.m. on Sundays, on which a federal holiday falls on the preceding Monday.
Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Says Sunday, no?
No,
No, it
Saturday
doesn't say
doesn't.
Sunday.
Doesn't say Sunday.
So, okay, for the record,
got it.
all outdoor entertainment will be terminated 9 p.m. daily, with the exception of Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, when it'll be terminated at 11. And then you said something about
I said
holidays.
Sunday nights till 11 on special events when the preceding Monday or the proceeding Monday is a federal holiday.
That would only be a couple days down out there.
Yeah, okay. You got it?
4th of July maybe.
I've
and-
got it.
Maybe Labor Day, maybe Memorial Day.
Yeah, they're not gonna have any entertainment in the winter, I can tell you.
Okay.
So just for the record, Chairman, I'm making this Exhibit 1, and that the fact, and then, but the letter is Exhibit 1, but they're only adopting that particular language.
Right. I mean, if you do a separate MOU with those folks, that's fine. But right now, we're just gonna do number one, because it hasn't been agreed to by your clients, nor has it been signed by anyone except the
You.
community. Right, okay. Questions, discuss it with your client. Do you have any questions, Elizabeth or Doug?
So you're gonna deliver through the neighborhood? You plan to, not just to the Broadview, okay? Okay, that's fine.
People who like catering and
Name,
Pasos y Andores,
okay.
You have a catering license?
catering license.
Is there?
Yeah, it's off, yeah.
That's one there? Okay.
Yeah, they're good.
We're gonna have to do one at a time, please, thank you.
So it's an additional amount, but it'll be part of the, yes.
It's hard for me to determine what's on the record and what's not
Just
right now.
catering.
Yeah, okay. So his answer to the catering license was yes,
He's asking for a catering.
yes.
He's asking?
The current license has carry out and a portion, so it doesn't, you'll have to amend it for catering, but you have carry out privileges on here,
Thank you.
It's just not checked off on
Yeah,
the application.
on the application.
And then I just need clarification on, you're providing live entertainment because you checked both yes and no. So the answer is yes, you're providing live entertainment.
Yes, yes,
In the bar?
yes,
On the patio?
as both
On the patio,
Okay.
special events, especially.
weddings.
That's okay. If it gets real crazy, he jumps up and
He
hollers
jumps and
you know,
yells and screams.
throws things.
I'm just the guy with the long Greek name.
Yeah. Okay, now, do we have everything straight?
Yes, sir, I have the exception and I have the exhibit noted on the file.
Mr. Fogelman, do you want to discuss anything with your clients that we have to know anything else?
Not at all, other than they also will be alcohol certified long before this transfer is completed.
Fine with me. Since I live in the neighborhood, I would object.
I was just concerned about the
Paperwork?
discrepancies on the application, but
Make sure those are cleaned up.
Well, let me just make it clear in the record that the license will not be issued until the discrepancies are resolved.
Correct.
By Mr. Fogelman. Okay?
Absolutely.
Okay,
And just submit a letter that will make those corrections.
okay.
Would you prefer a letter, or would you prefer my clients to hand initial those changes on the original application
We
and
can-
date them?
That's
That'd be
fine.
fine.
that's fine.
Thank you.
Whatever.
So yes.
He's a yes, he's a yes. Yes.
Thank you very much.
Okay, have a good day.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Ready?
Yeah. Okay, Vijay Kumar Patel and John Upperman, Shiitake Hanover LLC. Trade name is Hanover Liquors. This is at 1701 South Hanover Street, Class A beer, wine, and liquor. An application for transfer. We do have a letter of support for this, as well as a copy of the MOU for this file.
Counsel?
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. JU representing the petitioners, Mr. Vijay Kumar Patel and Mr. John Upperman. Mr. If I may,
Okay.
proceed by way of proffer.
Yes.
Mr. Patel is
I'll give you two, and then
Mr. Patel has about 6.5 years of prior experience with beer and wine shop management in Virginia and also in Georgia. He has no experience in Maryland, but he was alcohol awareness certified in Virginia and Georgia, and he is certified currently in Maryland, Your Honors. I do have a copy of the certification.
Okay.
Mr. Patel has no prior criminal history or serious traffic offenses. He is of a good moral character, and Mr. John Upperman has been a licensee on this license. He is currently on the license, and Mr. Upperman will be continuing to be the resident agent and the licensee on this license, Your Honors. Mr. Upperman has been in the neighborhood for about 20 years. and Mr. Opperman will make sure, as a resident agent, that all the rules and laws of the liquor license laws are obeyed and upheld.
Who's going to be there day-to-day? Mr. Upperman?
Mr. Patel will be the
Mr.
day-to-day
Patel's going to be
operator.
the day-to-day operation.
Yes, Your Honor.
And you've explained to him that there are certain rules that apply to a liquor license that he has to comply with, and because if he comes back here, he comes back to us,
Yes.
right?
And-
Violations, right?
And Mr. Opperman will be given a copy of the rules and regulations, Your Honor.
Okay. 'Cause
Mr. Patel.
we wish you the best, but we don't want you to come back. Because if you come back, then there's a problem of some sort. Okay.
Chairman, for the clarity of the record, I just wanted to note that I put as exhibit number 1, the letter of support, and exhibit number 2 is the MOU.
Okay. Now, let's talk about the MOU, counsel.
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm not an honor. I'm just a chairman.
Mr.
It's
Chairman.
been signed by Mr. Upperman, right?
Yes.
And it looks like Mr. Patel,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Is that correct,
That's-
gentlemen? And Michael Murphy, who is the president of the South Baltimore Neighborhood Association. That's what you're saying is the attorney of record, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And you and your clients want this MOU to be included with the license, is that correct?
That's my understanding of what the MOU says.
Well, you need to make sure with your clients,
Client.
it's your understanding because you represent them,
Yes.
okay? Is that right?
That's right, Your Honor.
Okay.
Mr. Patel was actually at the meeting with
I'm just making sure, okay? Because I don't want them to come back later and say, he said something for us and we didn't agree to that, okay?
Thank you.
All right, all right. Anything else, counsel?
No, Your Honor. Other than that, I believe Mr. Patel does qualify as a licensee.
Had previous violations on this license,
Yeah,
two of them.
2 of them back.
One was underage drinking. It's a long time ago. but
Right, they were back in 2006 and 2005, but there was actually a previous transferee.
Yeah, it was on a previous license.
Yeah,
This is a neighborhood of a lot of young kids who try to get in and buy liquor through this establishment. Just gotta be aware of it, because
Make sure you card them,
card everybody.
because we
Best
don't
thing
know
is-
if the city is gonna, police force gonna send somebody in and try to get you. Don't do it, okay? Okay.
We don't like that. We don't like underage drinking here. I have no other questions.
I don't have any questions.
It's a yes with me.
Yes.
A yes with the MOU.
Thank you. Thank you, Chairman.
This is, Los Amigos.
Okay.
Los
Ne-
Amigos.
Maria Alvarado and Eduardo
Alvarado.
Cavello. This is Los Amigos Restaurant, Inc. Trade name is Los Amigos at 5506 Hartford Road, a Class B. Beer, wine, and liquor, an application for transfer. I'm looking around for the licensee to come up, and I
Here
don't.
there goes one of the inspectors. We'll see if they're out in
Okay.
the hallway.
Oh, no, go back to, yeah, she's good. Thank you, Jay.
Why
Well,
wouldn't somebody show up?
yeah,
Do you have anything, Madam Secretary?
I don't have anything actually on this one at all, and there wasn't even any letters in regards to this one, except for the issue that we need to look at pecuniary interest. What I can do is let's move on to the next part of
Is
the,
this the one with the
Pecuniary
100%
interest,
and this,
yes.
okay.
there's a pecuniary interest
We're
issue.
just gonna,
And the lawyer's not here either.
No.
who was the lawyer?
Paul Schumann, so, well, I've dealt with him
Well,
once before.
before we reschedule it, we should have that modified.
Yes,
Yeah.
we will contact the licensee in regards to
Okay.
that issue. the
Let's
pecuniary
move on.
issues. Okay. Gunther Boiler Works was postponed, so that item has been moved to the 19th.
Which one was?
Number 8,
Number 8.
number 8.
The next one would be James Ho Park. So this one is James Ho Park, Jonathan Park, and Frederick Chung, Canton Square Liquors, Inc., trade name M&L Canton Liquor, Discount Liquor, at 2923-25 O'Donnell Street, a Class A, transfer of ownership. I do have a letter of support from the Canton Community Association.
For the record, Melvin J. Kanensky representing the applicant in this case. This is a transfer of a long existing place. Mr. Chung, who's going to stay on the license, has been there 30 years. Mr. Chairman might have remembered. This store was owned by Mary Lou Scardina. Mary Lou Scardina was Buddy Polino's daughter, who then went on to own Enrico's. But Mr. Chung, remember I did the transfer him for 30 years ago.
Way before my time.
For your time, yeah.
I think we just got electricity then. I think it was
Before your time.
fine though.
Then don't even say anything about the pictures, okay?
No pictures
Okay.
today.
Was it buggy transportation?
I can't tell you. I'll show you the
Christmas party pictures.
Mr. Park and his son are taking over the store. I'm having them see Mr. John Murray to be alcohol certified. They met with the Canton Association, got a letter of support. It's a place that really is a non-controversial. They're going to clean it up a little bit, do a little sprucing up and change some signs, and that's about it.
Just for the record, I have added as Exhibit 1 the letter of support from Canton Community Association.
And you said Mr. Chung's was already on the license?
Yeah, and he's going to stay on. He owns the building, so he's going to help them, meet the neighbors, making hands, changing plans.
Who's going to be there for the day-to-day operation?
There's the Parks.
Mr. Parks, okay, the middleman, all right, okay. And you've explained to him?
All the rules and regulations you take seriously, serving minors.
Okay,
Forewarned is forearmed.
you've been here enough times, so, okay. You're being nice today, Mr. Kudensky. Is your medication working?
So far, so good. My sciatica was bothering me, but always been a pain in the rear end of most people.
Yeah, I know
anyhow.
that.
Yeah, we know that.
You are on
They-
Charm
both
City
of them,
TV.
both of them jump on me. Ms. Hafey, what is it? Do you want to jump into now, or my only friend today?
No? And you finally got her name right. That's good.
That's good.
That's
She
good.
may even vote for you.
Any questions?
No, this is fine.
No questions?
No question.
yes,
Yes, yes, yes, yes.
All right, have a good day, council.
See
All the
people in
best.
back. Okay.
Knights.
Knights Liquors.
Yep,
Yeah,
we're ready.
we're ready.
Okay. Taibi Gilibrew and Habtum Woldemiriam and Murray Street, VEL Inc. Trade name is Knights Liquor at 5139-41 Park Heights Avenue, a Class BD7, transfer of ownership.
For the record, again, Melvin J. Kanensky, representing the applicants. This is an application to transfer an existing business. Have the individuals going to take the alcohol awareness course with Mr. John Murray. They have met or talked with, I think it's the Pimlico Merchants Association there. There's been no protest. I've explained to them they have to follow the rules and regulations of the board, that the board takes very, very seriously whether or not, serving minors, and that they're not to come back here again unless they want to just say hello, but not for any violations.
Who will be the principal?
These two here, they're actually husband and wife, although I guess in the way that it's written culturally they have different names.
Okay.
Couple of things from the application that we have missing. What's the response to the zoning issue? It's not checked off.
I don't know if there is a zoning issue.
This is a previously existing location, so it's Knights Liquor has been, so that it was submitted to zoning, so there is no change in the operation. So it is just a straight transfer.
Grandfathered in.
Grandfathered in, okay.
It's just a transfer of ownership,
Correct.
and they're currently operating.
Absolutely open. Been operating. the attorney is Mr. Yu, who was just
Right,
here.
Mr. Yu was
Right.
just here. This was just transferred to someone else recently, too.
Aren't you gonna ask if they're violations?
I'm looking at them.
Yeah.
Can you go over the violations?
Yeah, there were violations in the last license year, and there was I remember this one because there was a previous transfer this is the second transferee, because the first transferee that didn't go forward, but there had been some, sales to minor, and then there was an issue in regards to, acting like ABD seven, and a rules for the previous owner,
I'll
so.
explain that to him, that there have been some situations there, and I think that's one of the reasons why the current owner wants to move on.
Right. Yeah, and then so in the same year, there's three. There's the first time it was a sales to minor in July of 2014. Then in November of 2014, they had a, not acting like a BD7. And actually in September of 2014, they had another minor. So they were hit twice with sales to minor violations.
Double shot.
Yeah.
With different owners, with different licensees.
With the previous licensee
Right.
that's transferring.
Right. And I went over that with them, and then
Both on the same licensee?
Correct.
I went over the BD7 situation, the bar has to be open the same time as any of the packaged goods area.
So it's gotta be in a neighborhood that everybody's hitting these liquor stores with underage
Well, that was
drinking.
really a source of controversy in the Korean community for a while. Seems like they were being targeted, so to speak. However,
We're not gonna go there.
I'm not. I just trying to mention
just a
to the
comment.
commissioner, just passing.
Okay. We're gonna pass it. I'm a yes.
I'm a yes,
Yes.
but
Thank
be
you.
aware of underage drinking. I mean,
All right, thank you.
Have a nice day.
we got rid of the previous guy.
Whenever, anyone.
Okay. Sorry.
That's okay.
This is,
Avanish Patel.
Yeah.
Okay.
uh-huh.
Avanish Patel and Charles Zanino. This is SAI Beverage LLC. Trade name is Mini Market Deli Grocery Beer and Wine. A class located at 300 South Highland Avenue. A Class A beer, wine, and liquor. A transfer of ownership.
Transfer of are you an attorney?
No, sir. I'm representing myself, and he's my partner.
Okay. Now, I just wanna make something clear. I just saw that.
Yes, sir.
Charles, are you gonna be involved in this ownership on the license?
They have to
Yeah, let's get them sworn in first.
Raise your right hands, guys. Raise your right hand, please. Do you swear
Go
or
the right
affirm
hand,
the
yeah.
testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, we do.
Yes, I do.
All right, you're gonna be involved with the liquor license? Just for the record, I've known Mr. Zanino since many, 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 many years in Highlandtown. And so, as such, even though it's a transfer and we can go with two, we're gonna go with two, and I'm gonna step off and let Ms. Hafey is an attorney, so she'll run the hearing. I just don't wanna have any
Conflict.
conflict at all.
Appearance of conflict.
Appearance of a conflict, okay?
Mr. Commissioner, my name is Avinash Patel, and and sorry, Mrs. Elizabeth. I used to be one of the county employee before I retired in 2014, and also I was a licensed inspector in that county, Prince George's County. I retired in 2014, and I decided to just have some own small business, so I'm applying for this transfer of the license. I do have experience in the past. I used to have one liquor store myself, which I ran for 5 years with no violation or nothing in Prince George's County. And
Where was your liquor store?
it was in the Prince George's County, and I had for 5 years, and there was no violation or nothing. So I'm familiar with all laws and regulation. And again, for this transfer, I already applied, and I have passed for the course.
Thank you. presented the training certificate.
Yes,
Okay.
Alcohol awareness
Yes, ma'am.
course.
have past experience as plus refresh my all memories too.
Is this place,
It's on 300 South Highland Avenue.
is it open?
Yes, ma'am.
It's opening and operating, yes, Commissioner.
Diabetes,
Avinash Patel.
Class A, okay.
And this letter in here was written by,
The seller, and then they wrote a letter to say that they're withdrawing their withdrawal, so it went back and forth. So they are back on, which is why Mr. Patel and Mr. Zanino are here, is
Yeah.
because at first they were going to not transfer, then they decided they weren't going to transfer, so it's back on. So I provided all the correspondence.
Right. It was supposed to be last month.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then so both copies of the letter are there, along with the inspector who went out there and did the transfer report is also included. Joanne Martin.
Has this closed yet?
No, sir. It's open.
No, I mean the transfer.
The sale as far as,
Has the sale gone through?
Yes, sir. It is pending on the approval of this liquor license transfer.
Okay.
Mr. Patel, just remember to make a copy of your alcohol awareness certificate and provide it to staff over at the office, okay?
Okay, I'll do it,
Thank
ma'am.
you.
We give the license.
Can I mail it to them or?
You'll have to come by to finish up everything anyway,
Okay.
so when you bring it, just
No
bring it all.
Mhm.
so just so I understand, Mr. Patel is running everything then?
Yes, ma'am.
Any violations I can.
Any
Yeah.
violations?
Any violations?
Here's let me see the second page. No, looks like the only is a violation of 4.18 illegal conduct, which was in regards to a trader's license back in 2011, but no sales to minors or any issues like that. And it was a 4.18. So yeah, those both are usually
Just
selling
not-
alcohol not allowed by their license, but they're 4.18s, and they were given 2 fines of $200.
Yeah. No problem.
Do you have anything from the community?
No, ma'am.
No.
Have you spoken to the community?
Have you spoken? She's the owner,
She's the original owner,
original owner. But I don't think anyone had objection as far as she knows.
I'm a yes. It's fine.
That's fine.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you.
One more, Mary.
Yeah.
New applications? No. No new
Just one more after this, yeah?
Yeah, let's see, 40 after this, okay. Where did he go?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, get Ben back, please. How did he get out? Went to the mayor's office?
I have no idea. I'm just,
He might have said hi to the mayor. Mount Royal. Oh, boy.
yeah, we lost our court reporter.
He's looking for the
Ben.
Yeah. Oh, the chairman
There he
appeared.
comes.
Yeah, chairman appeared and then no court reporter.
He was looking for you.
Well, no, he's sitting back.
Oh, okay.
Take that, Akatana. In for a couple cold beers.
No, we have to wait because
Yes,
Yes,
we have
we
to.
do.
he's gone. Okay, so now we're in the regular docket.
Yep. The last item is off the docket for that. of the
Number
expedited-
2.
Number 2's off, so we just have
Lowered
the brass
call.
tap.
Right. And then the last expedited item is off, yeah.
Right.
Oh, I have an exhibit, so I'll pass those out so I don't have to pass them out.
For the brass tap?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Hurdle, do you have the brass tap?
Are we up?
No, not
Not
yet.
yet, we're not on recorder.
You're welcome to come up.
And have the Lozals come
You
up
can
as well.
talk- you can-
Come up.
They can come up, we just can't start with anything. Don't start
New
anything.
exhibits too.
Don't start anything. Okay.
Try not to.
Okay.
Coffee intake is getting out of control.
Oh, just wait. He says yes, and then she reads what she's got to read, and then he's ready.
Okay, great.
Okay.
So the next item is Barry Lowenthal and Pauline Lowenthal, Bella Rock LLC. Trade name is the Brass Tap, 1205 West Mount Royal Avenue, a Class B application for a new Class B beer, wine, and liquor restaurant under provisions 2.08, requiring $200,000 in capital investment in restaurants, fixtures, facilities, and seating with a minimum capacity of 75 people. Attached are, which has been given out as Exhibit 1, is a copy of the funding information, and the menu that was provided by Mr. Hurdle in advance.
Okay, are you in favor or opposed?
We're in favor.
Okay, good. So, I'm going to let you do a proffer, and I'm going to have him sworn in, okay?
Sure, should I introduce myself first?
Yes.
Yes.
Excellent.
Okay.
Abraham Hurdle for Bell Rock LLC, trading as the Brass Taps at the Fitzgerald. With me are Barry Lowenthal and Pauline Lowenthal, who are going to be the 2 licensees.
Okay. And, sir, we're going to have you sworn in since you're going to testify in support. So raise your right hand.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, so we'll take your proffer, then we'll take his comments and support, and then we'll go from there.
Does your handout have the floor plan?
Yes.
Excellent. I just wanted to make sure, because I know mine does.
I'm sorry. Exhibit 1 will also include the floor plan, Abe.
I'm just really proud of my floor plans recently. I'm doing really well.
Nice. It's nice.
Again, with me is Barry and Pauline Lowenthal. They're applying for a new B license based on capital expenditures. The planned outlay looks like it's going to be in the neighborhood of about $750,000, well exceeding the requirement. I believe the seating, and I actually going to have to turn to my client because he has a better knowledge of the seating.
Well, he hasn't been
He
sworn
hasn't
That's what I
in.
was going to
Sworn in.
have him do.
And been sworn in.
Raise your right hands, please. Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes. Mr. Lowenthal, how many seats are going to be at the location inside the premises?
Inside the premises, we're going to have 75 at tables and 22 at a bar.
In excess of the 75 comfortably, and there's going to be some outside as well. We have applied for live entertainment outdoor table service. Zoning has pre-approved those. I believe it's a B4 or 5 zone, so they're permitted uses. We did meet with the Mount Vernon Belvedere Community Association, and we spoke briefly via email with several other community associations in that area because this is kind of on the edge of the Mount Vernon Belvedere border. Mr. Johnson asked if we would be willing to have a restriction on the license. He can explain that probably a little bit better. And we have agreed in return for their support. Mr. Lowenthal and Mrs. Lowenthal are not TAM certified, and they have unfortunately no experience in the industry, but they'll be getting significant training from Brass Taps headquarters.
He just made a face, so apparently he does have experience.
Well, he's had a lot of experience with beer. Mr. Lowenthal is quite the beer
Yeah, but
expert.
I have 20 years in the restaurant business. It's just been 20 years since I was in it.
Well, sorry.
Well, there you go.
There you go.
That's knowing your client.
You don't bat
That's really
1,000, you know?
Yeah.
Sorry. But he will be TAM certified, and with his 20 years of experience,
That's sufficient.
his wife has no experience, right? Excellent. Cool. But there's going to be significant training from the main corporation of Brass Taps. as well as, again, TAM, and they are familiar with the rules and regulations of the Liquor Board. And at this time, they would ask that they approve pending Mr. Johnson's comments.
I just have a couple of questions
Sure.
about the application.
Please.
Will you offer delivery of food and/or alcohol? No. I didn't see that checked off. There's nothing checked off for off-premise catering of food and alcohol. Is that yes or no?
That's no.
So it's a new application. We're trying to fill them out online because my handwriting is unfortunate. So trying to do it electronically. My floor plan was good. I think I deserve some credit for
Much
that.
better than when Mr. Kadensky came in with that floor plan that.
Is it crayon?
Yeah, it was in crayon, yeah. That, Miss Witt wrote about that, I saw that, it was in crayon. I told him he had to do better, so.
At least someone's listening. I want you
Yeah,
to know.
you listen.
Try.
Yeah, okay, sir.
Steve Johnson, Chair of the Liquor Committee of the Mount Vernon Belvedere Association. Just wanted to confirm that the applicants did attend our last general membership meeting and just gave a brief presentation, and there was no objections to the application for the license. Because the venue is on the border with the Bolton Hill Group, I contacted the Mount Royal Improvement Association, and they have no objection to the application either. We did that as a courtesy to Bolton Hill. However, since there's permission for live entertainment on the application, we typically ask if the applicant would agree to a sunset provision on that live entertainment, which essentially says if the license is transferred or sold at a later date, that the permission would cease to exist, and they have agreed to that condition, and there's a letter that we can submit to the board indicating their acceptance of that condition. We have not asked for any other restrictions on the license with respect to outdoor table service or even a form of live entertainment, partially because this is overseen by their landlord in some ways, the Fitzgerald Group, which will probably have some fairly strong oversight in the operation. So we feel very comfortable that the applicant will have a great operation, and we're looking forward to it to open when he gets to that point.
Just one quick correction on the letter. Mr. Johnson was nice enough to put this together for us at the last minute. The address listed is 1025. It's 1205 West Mount Royal.
Do you want me to?
That's fine. Absolutely. I did it on my copy,
Yes.
too. So.
And thus, that would also be Exhibit 2 as the file goes.
Just the last things to add, we did speak with representatives from MICA and from UB because they're very close by. And while no one provided letters of support, no one provided any letters of objection. And the Fitzgerald does have a very, very strict lease on this premises, so things are not going to be getting out of control. The average beer price is not going to be targeted towards college students in any nature. It's going to be a wide variety of craft beers, some bottles, high-end stuff.
What's across the street? Is it Micah?
I think MICA nearly borders the area.
So the license would include the live entertainment provision in the letter that we're including,
That is
correct?
correct, yes.
Okay. Go ahead, Michelle.
No, I didn't read that into the original application, but it is on the application and noted, so I do want to make sure that that it is noted that it is live entertainment and outdoor table service were requested as part of the application.
We actually already have the zoning application in.
So.
It's just a matter of getting the inspections.
And just for the record, that letter that was provided is signed by both of your clients.
That's correct.
Right, okay. And so they're agreeable to that. Just, I want to make sure that's clear in the record.
We believe the lease is incredibly restrictive,
Yeah,
and that this
okay.
is,
I
it
just
helps the community, yeah.
don't want to leave anything unresolved.
Right, and the application needs to reflect that you went to zoning, which it doesn't. You haven't checked off yes or no.
It's supposed to be, like, required, is my
Yes, it is, but you
understanding.
didn't check off yes,
Check
you
it
didn't
off.
check off yes or
This is
no.
an electronic application, you know? I think my floor plan's pretty good.
Excellent.
Once again, the floor plan.
And your floor plan's good, and she has no experience, but he has 20 years experience. I've got that.
Like I said, no one bats 1,000, you know?
Man, there you go. I'm a yes.
Yes, thank
I'm
you.
a yes, but watch the underage drinking down there.
Absolutely.
Yep. Yep.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
I would
Thank you
never-
for
Have a good
coming.
day.
Did
Thank you.
underage drink?
See you next
Did
week.
I underage drink?
It's
Did the
okay.
statute of limitations run yet? I don't know.
Back then it was a lot easier.
Yeah, back then it was easier.
Okay.
Well, now we have
Violations.
violation.
Violations.
That's been postponed.
I think it goes to
The
the inspectors.
Yeah,
Sorry?
Like
Raj?
inspectors and cops are outside.
I think they're
Oh,
outside.
okay, yeah.
Is this Raj is out?
Yeah, Raj has been
He's supposed to go
postponed.
get the inspectors and the police officers.
Yeah, Raj has been
Postponed, okay.
postponed.
Two left.
What?
We have two left.
Just 2 left.
Violations.
Mm-hmm. But that'll take us past the. I don't know. What do I know?
This was a big docket.
According to people's
Not
internet.
that big a docket.
I
That's
don't know.
not,
But there's a lot of stuff.
it's not adult entertainment, that's a big docket.
It's just a lot of small cases, transfers today. Okay.
What's happening?
I have no idea. We'll have to wait till the court reporter gets here. She calls it and take them a day at a time.
Okay. This is Fraulein Galan, Euphoria Restaurant and Nightclub LLC. Trade name is Euphoria Nightclub at 1301 South Ponca Street, a Class BD7, beer, wine, and liquor. This is a violation of 4.18 on September 7th, 2015. There's another violation of Rule 3.12, public welfare. That's also occurred on September 7th, 2015. And the final one is a violation of 4.02, inebriates and drug addicts, on September 7th, 2015. I
We
believe
like
that
to
we
refer
have
to as alleged violations.
alleged violations.
So,
Okay, here's what we're gonna do, Mr. Kaninsky, just out of an abundance of caution, I'm gonna have everyone sworn in. Now, if you wanna make a proffer, that's fine, but I just wanna get that out of the way.
Wait, I'll need
Um,
I'll need one of my inspectors. Are you going to testify, Mark?
Get him
Well,
sworn in.
he'll get sworn in, but we'll see what
Right,
happens.
okay. You
All right,
can
raise your
sworn
right
in,
hand.
officer.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
for the record, Melvin J. Kadensky, 19 East Fayette Street, representing the licensee.
Now, stand by, Mr. Kaninsky. These are the licensees. You're the city police officer? We're gonna let him testify, then you're gonna cross, okay? Then we'll see if the inspector has anything to say. And then you will present any mitigation from your clients. Because it's a
Assuming
violation.
there's a reason to
Assuming there's a
mitigation.
reason to do mitigation, because it's a violation, so the violation comes first.
Right.
Okay. Give your name and then your testimony, please.
Yes, is Officer Mira,
First name.
James Mira from the Southeast District Patrol. And in reference to this, on Labor Day, I responded to 1301 Ponca Street. It's Euphoria nightclub. I believe there were 4 calls for 911, one of which was an aggravated assault. When I arrived on scene, there was a large group of people, estimated about 800 people. Foxtrot was overhead. I then saw a Mr. Carter with 2 lacerations to his head. He was bleeding everywhere. He stated he was inside the club and he didn't know what happened. He had about 10 people around him, none of which were cooperative. They were all drunk and disorderly.
Objection.
They all smelled of alcoholic beverage and stated they were inside the club.
Sustained, but that comes in.
And then I called for a medic. A medic came to the scene. While we were waiting, I saw multiple officers run after another gentleman. I pursued. I saw another black male, I forget his name at this time, throw what appeared to be a handgun into the crowd of about
I'm
400
object
people.
to the characterization of appearance of a handgun.
Sustained.
What was black and looked like a semi-automatic handgun in the shape and
Same
size.
objection, but you'll decide what weight you want to give to it.
Continuing objection on the handgun. Go ahead.
He then threw this object into the crowd, into the rear of the location. We then apprehended him and arrested him and booked him. I then drove to the hospital with the first victim. While all of this was happening, I know there were 4 or 5 other fights. There were another 2 more arrests at this time. A Signal 13 was dropped, which in our equivalent is all help come now. 2 of these were dropped. Every officer in the Southeast and Eastern District responded, as well as school police officers. I estimate about 40 officers showed up on scene, draining the resources for the whole eastern side of the city.
I'll object to that characterization. I mean, we do have police officers that work every day and they drain the resources. I don't know what the resources of the city are.
Take it for the weight of the testimony, Mr. Kadensky, overruled. I know. Okay. Go ahead.
It took about 45 minutes to clear everybody on the street and everybody from their parking lot. As this was Labor Day, this was early, it was about 7 p.m.
Is that your testimony?
Yes, sir.
Cross, Mr. Kadensky.
When you came, everybody was outside in the parking area, is that correct?
Not everybody, but there were a large
Did
group.
you ever go in the place?
No, sir.
All right. When you went, did you see anybody drinking or being served drinks?
No.
Okay. Now, along with that, you mentioned that this was in the afternoon of Labor Day, correct?
Correct.
The area that this establishment is located, it's not in a residential area, is it?
Correct.
It's strictly a commercial area, industrial, manufacturing.
For
The
the most-
closest thing
for the
you
most
have
part.
to it is the Royal Farm Store.
Yes, there are 2 rural farms.
Right, okay, across the street. And when you get there, was there security worked at the,
There were multiple bouncers there, yes.
what we call them, security? I don't
Sure.
know, Their terminology. But you did talk with them, they were cooperative with you?
Of course.
Okay. And you talk about the arrests that were made. The fellow you mentioned that Jason Carter had a laceration to his head.
Yes.
Where did you see him?
He was sitting against the building.
Mhm.
There's like flower pots and there's a couple places to sit. He was sitting there with his friends.
He was outside, right?
Correct.
And you said that he was very uncooperative with you,
Correct.
right? And did he ever become cooperative with you?
No.
Did he ever tell you what happened to him?
He said he was inside of the building, and
Got that.
then he got hit, and his friends said the same thing and would not.
What was his friend's name?
None of them would give me any information. They were all uncooperative.
Okay. Everybody was uncooperative at that time.
Correct.
Now, you said that there was a fellow, his name was Dewan Kennedy,
Yes, correct.
and you had arrested him?
Correct.
And what happened in that case?
While I was trying to attend to Mr. Carter,
No, what happened to the case?
I did not.
What case?
I was put on call, and I did not go in.
So you knew the
called
case
me.
was null pros, you know that?
Now I do.
Okay. And along with the other parties that were there, do you know any other people that were arrested, the young ladies?
I was not part of that.
So you weren't part of that?
No.
So the only thing that you were a part of was this individual who was uncooperative. You went to the hospital with him. There were no arrests made other than the individual with Mr. Kennedy, whose case was null pros. Is that correct?
From my knowledge, yes.
Yeah, okay. And this happened in the afternoon?
About 7 p.m.
Yeah. So it was Labor Day weekend. Wasn't much traffic on the streets?
Well, the street was blocked off because there were so many people on the road. So
Who blocked them off, the people or the police?
the people, and then initially they blocked it off. Then we blocked it off for safety.
Okay. And you safety, so people couldn't go if you blocked the streets off, so all the people were penned in, is that correct?
As a precautionary factor, that's why we did
So
that. Yes.
when you're saying there were all these people there, they couldn't leave because you blocked them off.
We were
Eventually, you let
letting-
them leave.
We were letting people out. So on both sides of Ponca Street, one's on O'Donnell, one's on Boston. We were letting the northbound go toward O'Donnell and the southbound go down Ponca or to Boston. Therefore, nobody can come in, but anybody could leave at their free will.
Right, much like if you went to a football game. I mean, they blocked the track, well, let the people get out, is that right? And when they all got out, you left, what time did you leave?
I do not recall. I know I rode in the medic with Mr. Carter, the victim.
So you have no idea as to when all the rest of the crowd left?
From my supervisors, they said it took about 45 minutes for them to leave.
You, I'm asking you, not your supervisor.
Directly, no.
Okay. And, who is the Major Garrity, is that who it is? Okay. And so, as far as you know, your person was null pros, the other cases were null pros, and the event was finished by about sometime after 7 o'clock, right? It's a daytime event. I have no further questions.
Anything additional, officer?
I have copies of the reports if you guys would need that.
I think we have them.
Well, but they haven't
They
been
need to be
inter-
introduced into evidence.
Oh, I know.
And my objection is that he didn't make all the reports. And if you listen to what he said about Foxtrot and this trot
I
and
listened to
35 or 50
everything
people,
he said, Mr. Kudensky,
and there's
and
only
all
one
your
officer here.
objections.
Okay.
And there's nothing in evidence yet.
Right.
Safety's got something to say.
I had a question about the security. You spoke to the security, is that correct?
Yeah, I spoke to a few of them. They tried to figure out if there was a crime scene inside. There was too much, alcohol or water on the ground. They couldn't find a crime scene. They did cooperate the entire time.
What does that mean, there was too much alcohol on the,
Since there were a lot of people inside and out, we were unable to find a crime scene. They did try to help with witnesses. They were cooperative.
inside the building?
Yes, inside the building.
Did anybody say it was done inside the building? The
Yes,
lacerations?
he stated he was inside, and then he got hit, and that's all he remembers. He had about 4 to 5 people around him that were his friends, and then other people just trying to gather around, and all of his friends said that he just got hit, and then they wouldn't state what else happened.
And what did the security guards tell you about that, about the incident?
They said they just saw a commotion. They didn't see anything directly from what I remember.
They saw a commotion inside the building?
Correct.
Any questions, Mr. Kudensky, in light of the commissioners?
So you saw nothing with regard to this individual that had the laceration?
I did not
Other
see.
than the laceration, you didn't see?
Yes, of course.
how
I
it came
responded
about?
after the fact.
Got
There
it,
were
okay.
911 calls.
I didn't hear his answer.
You didn't hear it?
No.
Give it to him again.
I responded after the fact to the 4 911 calls.
All your investigation that you did took place on outside the licensed premises, correct?
Personally, yes.
Okay. And along with that, other than you're talking to the gentleman who had the laceration on his head, your police report, did he mention in your police report that he was hit inside the place?
I may not have put that in the police report, but he
Well,
did say
it's
he was
not.
inside.
It's not in your police report, is it?
What's in the testimony?
Okay. No, but you took your testimony and you put it down in your police report.
Yes.
All right, so you mentioned, there's no mention of that, other than he had a laceration on his head, and that he was not cooperative, and there was some of his friends who also, you canvassed the area, there was yielded negative results, correct? I have no further questions.
Inspector. Mr. Fosler, do you have anything that you want to testify to? Or what you saw, or?
Agent Mark Fossler, Balmer City Liquor Board. Nothing on the insides, Chairman. The only thing I can testify to is what I observed on the outside.
No one went inside? No liquor inspector?
It all had everything, the place was empty. By the time, give you the details. I wasn't on duty. Received a call. I just returned from Virginia, and I received a call at approximately 7:20 p.m. From Lieutenant Coburn about disturbance at Euphoria. I picked up, contacted Inspector Chronocolis. We went to the location. When we got there, we observed a group of people had exited, where the groups of people that we saw were approximately 250 yards away, up at the Royal Farm store at the corner of Ponca and O'Donnell Street. I counted approximately 19 police cars, in addition to the helicopter in the area, and went down to the location and it's true the street was blocked off, so we had actually parked a little ways away. And we walked down to the location. The establishment was empty.
Cross?
All right, so when you got there, Inspector Fossler, the actually interior, the licensed premises was empty.
Yes, sir.
Right. The outside, there were still some people milling around the outside in the parking area. That'd be, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but
Pretty much, they weren't in the parking area of, directly or
they were
close
moving
to
away.
the establishment. They
Isn't
were.
that the purpose of cross-examination, to put words in somebody's mouth?
No, I don't think so. The
Meeting?
man just got back from
Meeting?
Virginia. I want to try to,
Okay, I'm just asking you. I mean, that's the way I learned it.
all right. And so as far as that, anything that was in the licensed premises, in fact, was pretty much shut down. There was nobody in there. When
Yes, sir.
Everybody else was moving away, and other than the police being there, you didn't witness any arrest or any other kind of activity outside.
No, sir.
All right, no questions.
Did you speak to anyone?
Spoke to several officers, a sergeant that was on scene, some of the police officers. I believe I spoke to at least one security person from the establishment.
What did they tell you?
The police sergeant indicated to me that that he didn't see anything, essentially, and I was talking to the security person to ask about how many people were on duty, and he told me 18 security people.
Nothing else that you can remember? They may have told you.
Commissioner, when we got there, the crowd was pretty much dispersed, and the only substantial or where a number of people were gathered was at the rural farm stores.
And across in light of,
Just the rural farm stores, sort of catty corner across the street. And this is typical rural farm store with the, really good chicken and all that kind of stuff in there, over there. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. They don't have an alcoholic beverage license.
I mean, I'm not commenting on whether chicken is good or not. I'll take your word
Well,
for it.
Lodi not ourselves, if I don't
But,
put that in,
yeah,
I'd get
no
that.
liquor, no liquor license, but it seemed like there was a large crowd of people there.
I know. All right.
that's their case.
I make a motion that, oh, I'm sorry.
Well, how many people called 911?
I believe there were 4 calls total to 911, between 6:55 and 7:05.
And that was from people in the vicinity or neighbors?
They all commented 1301 Ponca, or they said Euphoria on the tapes from our KGA dispatcher.
I'm sorry? Yeah, no, okay, thank you.
But in 911 calls, aren't they supposed to identify themselves?
They don't always, they just said Euphoria, which is the nightclub's name.
They could have been driving around the car.
What?
They could have been driving around the car.
Yeah, they could be. I just wanted to
I
know.
don't know.
Well, the bottom line is you don't know who called, you don't have copies of those calls, and you didn't ring any of them, correct?
Correct.
Not that you didn't have to, but just in response to the commissioners.
His job's tough enough, Mr. Kadansky. Just, you don't have to make it any
I was probably the only person here, Mr. Chairman, told the man where to sit when they came here. He was languishing outside, and I gave him a place to sit. I mean, not that I'm getting any good.
He pulled the chair out. Yes.
Yeah,
He
that's
pulled
right.
the chair out?
He did?
Boy, that's the first.
He's getting old.
He's getting old and
It's
kind.
getting to him, you know?
If that's the case, at this point, I'd make a motion regarding 4.18. There is no testimony with regard to any illegal conduct in the licensed premises as set out under Rule 4.18. At the best we do is we have some things that happen on the exterior outside the licensed premises. 4.18 provides, among other things,
I know what it provides. I
Okay.
just read it.
okay, well then, I won't go any further with that. Regarding the 4.02, that has to do,
Read that one too.
I don't think there's been any testimony regarding
What are you gonna tell me about 3.12?
the 3.12 would indicate that they should operate their establishment. The establishment itself, there's nothing about what was happening in the licensed premises. What happened was, if anything was on the outside, I just find it curious, and I see this as a phenomenon, as you can see, and I'm saying is that you're right in the same building where 18 and 19 people were all arrested because they were voicing their opinion. All those cases are null pros. There's no cases here. Yet you will come and say something about this licensee. He did nothing in this case. There's no community there. It's an industrial area, and they didn't do anything to disturb the peace, safety, health, quiet, and general welfare of the community. There's nobody here from the community to voice anything. If it was a community, they would be here. So from that point of view, and the question is, it had to be an event that people were leaving. Much the same if you go to an Oriole game, or you go to down at the arena, or you go to a football game. People all leave. They leave, and the licensee has nothing to do with that once they leave the licensed premises.
The license, Madam Secretary,
Yes, sir.
covers what territory?
If you look at the responsibility of the licensee,
No,
is
no,
that
no.
what you're saying?
Does it cover the building and the parking lot?
And when you look at this, when you look at their particular portions of the business use, when you look at their license, it says use premises as a nightclub, restaurant, also outdoor live entertainment, outdoor seating, table service, and BCMA. So the portions of the premises would include the indoor and outdoor sections. The board has construed that the parking lot is also part of the licensed premises, but that would be a determination from your standpoint of the board.
Now, here's what 3.12 says, Mr. Kaninsky. Licensees shall operate their establishments, doesn't say brick and mortar, in such manner as to avoid disturbing the peace, safety, health, quiet, and general welfare of the community. That's my problem. That's my problem.
then
I
let
don't have
me-
any problem with the other two.
Let me retort with regard, in this
ahead.
case here, the licensee did operate their establishment. Nothing the licensee did or any of the employees of the licensee that caused the problem here. So if you think that the testimony that was given implicated anyway the licensee, must you have, is that the people who were the security people there were cooperative in the thing. They had nothing to do. Nobody even knows what happened in the thing. Nobody was cooperative with anybody there, except the only people that were cooperative were who? The licensee and his employees. They talk with everybody. So the licensee didn't operate their establishment in a way that to avoid disturbing the peace, safety, health, quiet, and general welfare of the community, because if they did, somebody from the community would be here. And if you follow that same thing, and they arrested 3 or 4 people and they null-prossed them, then the police didn't do what they were supposed to do, nor did the court system do what they do. So then you're left with the licensee who did what he was supposed to do.
Okay, I hear you.
Okay,
Is that it?
that's it.
Where was the lacerated victim found?
He was outside when he came.
And he stated to the police officer that he was hurt inside.
Well, we don't know that, what he said.
What he said
I know.
under oath.
But he said he was also uncooperative. And let me ask you this question. If that was so important, which I think is important, I'm not in blame, why wouldn't you summons them here? You know who they all are. We don't ever summons any of these people. Not we, I'm using the all-inclusive we, I'm not talking French, but we're talking about, the board. They know who they are. You're talking about Foxtrot in 1920. There's one police officer here. Good, he's doing his duty. No problem with that. But you make it seem like this is the worst thing since sliced bread in this thing. You got no outcome here. You got nobody.
I think what he said originally was the fellow that had the lacerations didn't know what happened, and then later in his testimony, he said it happened inside. So,
Well, he's also testified that the security guards told him something happened inside.
But they didn't say what it was, and then there was nobody to verify it. And let me just take it one step, Madam Commissioner. If you were there and you had your friends there with you, don't you think they would step up and say, he did it? This is the one hit him, no, we don't know. And the guy with the dreadlocks on, we don't know what happened there. It seems like we've got this big gap here. And you're saying that this then falls on the licensee? Because he's the only one left standing, last man standing? That's the question I got. I have a problem.
How many police officers were there?
At least 40. I couldn't testify to the exact number, but the Signal 13, they dropped 2 of them.
There's nothing wrong with 40 police officers
well, then
being
let me
issued
ask
to a place?
What were they doing prior to coming here?
How would he know?
No, I'm gonna ask them, were they working?
Of course, they were working in their designated areas.
And
They
they're
were pulled
supposed to
from
be
those
working?
areas. They were pulled from those designated areas.
They're not the only 40 police officers in the whole place?
Of course not.
So there's how many police officers on the shift? Maybe 300, 400, 500 in the city working at one time?
I can't
You
say
don't
for the numbers.
And there's nothing happening?
So your point?
The
is-
point is, they have to be working anyhow when they come. There's nothing here to say there was any assaults. We're here working.
I need
don't
something
have
to do.
Oh,
be
you just
here.
go over to the bar because you had a noise.
No, but if they come there, look at the result. Was there an overreaction here? Answer my question. No, I'm not asking, that's rhetorical. What I'm saying is, if it was that, how come there's no convictions here if it was that bad of a situation? Why aren't there somebody that has a conviction? If they did something that wasn't there, crowd control is crowd control. I guarantee you, and I keep the rating game, they'll have 500 police officers working there. So what do we say? Every available police officer in the city is at the Raven game? They're there to watch the game? No, they're there for crowd control.
This wasn't crowd control.
Well, they didn't do anything.
911 calls
We
on
don't know
crowd.
who called them. Nobody knows that. You know what that gets
There's
me?
a record of
Yeah, but where is the
4091.
record? He doesn't have it. We don't know who called it. You know, this is, Shorty Jones. I'm here outside the Rural Farm Store, eating my chicken. There's a lot of, no, we don't know that. We don't know. All I'm saying is that you can't take the things and just dump them on the licensee. That's all I'm trying to say. And if it was that, the licensee wasn't cooperative, if his people weren't cooperative, if there were some big thing that happened where somebody was, they found somebody guilty of thing, you don't have any of that. That's the problem we got in this city. We're jumping to these things, then you jump back. You got people get let go out of the hospital, they run over and kill people. You say, listen, God, what the heck is going on here? But it's not their fault. They had 18 security people working. They did what they were supposed to do.
Had clarification, 18 security people?
What the police officer testified to. Inspector Fossler, sorry. I'll make him.
Agent Foster, that I didn't count the security people because they were all over the place, but I asked the security person how many people were on duty, and he responded 18.
That's my argument.
Any other violations?
There was a violation, there was a violation last year.
But that was resolved,
Yes.
wasn't, Madam Secretary, the result of meeting with the board in an
Yes.
amicable manner.
Yes.
What was the nature of the violation?
It was a 3.12 violation and a 4.02. So 3.12 is the public safety and 4.02 is in regards to inebriates and drug addicts. And they were suspended for 2 days with a fine of $1,125.
This was a Labor Day party from afternoon to 7 o'clock.
I don't think it started, sometime in the afternoon, right, and they were finished by 7 o'clock. They were
Did it have
going home.
Live entertainment there?
Oh, no,
party?
no. I
It's
don't.
just a bar.
Oh, no. It's a club.
Club.
It's euphoria means euphoric. Do you? I don't know. Do you know where it is? I'm not.
I know where it is.
Yeah.
I know where
Yeah.
it is. You go down Ponca and you hit Halliburton.
Yeah, and it's really
It's an industrial zone.
nobody's there.
It's an industrial zone.
Below the car wash,
Yeah.
above Boston Street, which has the Royal Farm,
And
Which
Whitey
has the
Whitey used to own it for years
which
and
has
years.
the
and years.
underpass to 95. Yes,
Right
yes,
there,
yes.
And you said Partners was there, and they're gone.
Here all the time.
Partners
I
isn't
don't go
there
there,
because
but I
that's
go
where the
over
car
there.
wash is. Right.
Board, we did receive, do I need to introduce anything? Do you need to introduce anything into the evidence?
We gotta make
or-
it rolling
No,
first.
because he's going to object and I'm going to sustain it. I know what you're going to want to put in those 2 letters.
Yes, we did receive 2 emails.
No.
We actually received 3, one from the attorney and two citizen
Mine
emails.
was the best.
Just forget
One in response.
No.
They were entertaining. Okay. Elizabeth, you can, what do you think?
I think, Mr. Kavensky, you're reading the idea of bit too narrowly. I don't know if it's just that specific community as I read the rule.
Well, you can only give it the plain meaning as it was written, although it might have been poorly written. It says of the community. We don't have the community here to protest, so I can only take it that way.
And 402, we have no proof of?
That's the inebriate.
No,
Inebriates and...
we don't have any proof of that. No.
Not inside the bar.
No.
I think the public welfare, I disagree with Mr. Kondensky's interpretation of that. I think it would apply here. As far as the 4.02 and the 4.18, I don't think we have very loose testimony that we know we don't really have enough to go on about what actually occurred on the inside of the building. But as I understand what Madam Secretary said, the license attaches to not just the actual building itself, but to the immediate vicinity, the parking lot.
Well, they have outdoor entertainment, too.
And they have outdoor entertainment.
If you're going to do that, then you might as well go to Raven Gates. They can't drink on the parking lots, and they sell booze on Raven Walk, and they don't have a license, so you might as well send your commissioners, your inspectors down there and shut them all down. You talk to Mr. Bishotti about that later, but that's okay.
Well, they need licenses. Well, my concern is that something happened. Something happened. You have 800 people leaving an establishment, okay? And you get 911 calls, and you have people laying bleeding on the sidewalk or next to the building. Something happened, okay? I usually don't go to facilities or entertainment venues, so that happens to me, okay? Now, that is not being managed properly. That is not being managed properly, security-wise, as well as just for the general good of the public. I can't understand why anybody would allow this to happen and not be concerned about it.
And Mr. Commissioner, I would agree with you 1,000%. I got a case just happened last week. 2 girls in the horseshoe. One girl got her ear ripped off. The other girl got her face cut with a glass. They were all rolling around, and they took them out of there. I agree. But when they told me it happened so spontaneously and happened, and it was over before. They are all in shock trauma. The same girl, same guy, the security guy got knocked out.
We're reviewing all those.
Well, we don't,
And I'm not-
liquor licenses are, hard things to manage because you got people that get drunk.
But you see what we're missing here?
What? The proof.
No. That and personal responsibility. We don't ever want to take the people who perpetrated and say they are personally responsible. And that's what I keep harping away. These people were arrested if they really did it. And you know, Prusum, you're saying, where is the personal responsibility for this that goes with the people who you say did this outside the licensed premises? And we're here arguing with regard to the licensee. I mean, there's somewhere along the line we're on the wrong side of this whole thing. And you know who they are because you got their names and addresses. You got all that. If you summons them, they don't come. It's a different story. But they're never here. They're never here. Now, maybe the guy did something and he not deserve. You don't deserve to get glass, but maybe he did something and somebody whacked him. I don't know what it was that happened there. His friends absolutely didn't come to his rescue. With friends like that, you don't need enemies.
Let me try and break the stalemate. The problem that I have as an attorney is there's very, very little proof. The other problem is that I think that it is an issue for the community in terms of welfare and protection. Therefore, I don't think that the licensee should be suspended, but I do think that there should be a substantial fine. I believe that. I think that there's a problem with, community safety. There's a problem with proof that it occurred in the establishment or even in the outside. There's a problem with proof. And we are about following the law and following the proof. When the officers respond to a Signal 13, I know that everybody drops everything and they run because it's an officer down, it's an officer in trouble. There's obviously issues. So obviously these people on the outside were partying on the outside. They didn't go on the outside, they were partying on the outside. So when you have a group like that, it's a problem. I don't think they should be suspended, but I think there should be a substantial fine.
Well, let me just,
Go ahead.
so we're talking only about 3.12 at this point.
We're talking about 3.12, yes.
So as far,
That's what I'm talking about.
And I don't, you're saying that you agree 3.12? No, I'm not asking you definitely.
No, wait.
So if you're talking about 3.12 before you make your final decision with regard to, then I have something to say for mitigation. Okay.
Go ahead.
right, so we need to clarify that. So
Okay.
as far as the 3, I would move for 3.12 and the other 2
To be dismissed.
Yes.
Fine, that's fine. The other 2 are dismissed. For the record, the other 2 are dismissed. We're holding in 3.12.
Now,
So now
before you,
Now,
my turn.
okay.
This licensee goes out of their way to have anywhere, and that's the gentleman there that does security. They had between 18 and 20 people working. It was the last day, Labor Day party. Number 2, the licensee is in constant contact every week with Major Garrity. They talk once a week, who's the major for the district, and he had talked with Major Garrity after this incident. And Major Garrity, now, if you want to hear from him, say that he thought it was handled by his people okay. Now, whether somebody there overreacted when they came, there was no police officer in trouble here or anything like that, but somebody did drop a Signal 13, which would be nice to know who did it. Of course, we're never going to know. But I think in reference to what you are going to determine here is that they have security. They have one for every 50 people they think are going to be there. The security person here, the gentleman here is the manager. He's the licensee. They have their phone numbers with Major Garrity, everybody that's there, and they talk once a week to make sure they ask what's going on. So they're very proactive in this thing. Now, that particular day, like I say, it goes back to the personal responsibility of the people that were there, but you're already going to find 312. I'm just saying with regard to mitigation, I think I'm giving you the information that you need.
Okay.
There's venues of this size that don't have trouble, ever, okay? I could name a couple, but I won't, okay? That's not my right to do that. Okay, security is a very important thing in any venue of 800 people or more. And something happened. Something happened. It's not just I'm deciding to drop a 13. A policeman thought he was in trouble. He was in a mob of 800 people, and a policeman says, I see something, and I'm calling and dropping a 13. And that's not significant?
Well, I'm not saying it's not significant. The question is that if you felt that the police officer was in danger and there was a charge that was sustained against something that happened to the police officer, I'm saying you're right, but that didn't happen in this case. I think it was an overreaction. It was a knee-jerk reaction to something.
He saw something. Some police officer saw something and dropped that.
Mm-hmm.
And it could have been a knife, it could have been a gun, it could have been anything, right?
Could have been a cell phone.
It could have
You
been a
don't
cell
know.
phone.
It had
yeah.
incriminating evidence on it. I don't know what it is.
Not sure why anyone would throw away their cell phone in that.
Well, they have throwaways. They call them throwaways for a reason.
I go along with a fine.
How much?
So last year they
Previous
had,
fine was 1125.
right, 1,000.
Or,
It was 1,100. When 125 was the admin, wasn't it?
That's correct.
Okay.
So 1,000.
1,000.
1,000.
I would say it has to be at least 2,000.
I'm with, I
I will go with 2,500.
I'm outvoted.
You don't want to ask for me, do you? No.
No suspension,
No suspension.
2,500. All right,
2625.
2625. Officer, thank you.
Thank you very much for your
Stay
time,
safe.
officer.
Yep.
Can I just ask a point of, not with the police,
Goodbye.
in a future case, if we ask for summonses to be issued, will the board do that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, we
Yeah.
will.
That's fine.
Yes.
Oh, how much time to pay? 30 days?
Yeah. Can we have 30?
Yes.
No problem. Mr. Konensky, do I need to make sure the record's complete in the event there is an appeal? Or no?
I mean, I have to talk to the client, but I'm not recommending that.
Okay, so there's no suspension, so 30 days. All right, just checking.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, last one.
Might need that off the record, we need to check that.
I'll give you
Yeah, okay. Hello, how
Hello.
are you?
Whenever you're ready. Adam Martinez.
I'm ready.
Okay, Adam Martinez, Santa Ana Restaurant LLC, trade name is Santa Ana Restaurant, 246 South Broadway, a Class D, beer and wine. It is this is a violation of Rule 4.05, prohibitive hours, that happened on October 17th, 2015. There's another violation of 3.03C, employee records, again, that happened on October 17th, 2015, and a violation of illegal conduct on that same date, October 17th, 2015.
Counsel, are you going to submit, or are you going to have testimony?
We would submit, we'd make an admission that these violations technically occurred.
Okay.
There is a substantial mitigation I'd like to offer.
So you gentlemen can take a seat. Okay?
Gary Maz?
No, he's admitting.
I know. Is this the one that we suspended the license for?
No, it's
No,
different
this
than
is-
that.
No.
Okay.
They've never been before you in any sort of substantial violation. This is a small bar on Broadway, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. It caters to the Spanish community. Almost 100% of their clientele is a Spanish community. It has a license, a D license that ends at 1 o'clock. At 1:08 on this particular day, my client was in the process of getting the customers to leave. Almost all the alcohol beverages in the establishment were empty, but there were a few stragglers that still had some bottles in their hands, and he was in the process of getting them to leave. Unfortunately, they were there. The incident did occur. My client, since that time, has made arrangements to stop serving alcohol at 12:30, so that this never occurs again. You can see from the photographs that the investigators took as part of your record that the bottles and things on the tables are primarily
Yeah, we have 'em.
all empty. It wasn't a situation there. With respect to the employee record situation, unfortunately, they came in 1 o'clock in the morning. The records were kept in another location. They didn't have immediate access to them. They do have employee records. I brought them with us today. There are applications for employment that they had. They just couldn't put their hands on them immediately when the investigator was there at 1 o'clock in the morning after closing hours. The final violation they had was the certificate had expired, the alcohol awareness certificate. In abundance of caution, my client went ahead and had 5 people certified. so that at all times, anyone would be on the premises and have copies of all of the alcohol awareness certificates we could offer. But there's 5 individuals. This is a very small establishment, but it demonstrates how seriously he takes his obligations as a licensee. It's very difficult times financially for any bar owner or small business owner, and he regrets that his employee, the manager's here, was standing beside me. He regrets that they didn't scoot the people out of there, but he's now taken the measure of closing the business at 12:30. This establishment has never been before you with any serious violations, sale to minors. It's not a disruptive bar in the neighborhood. They were before you once before for a technical violation of their charter not being, I believe, up to date, but that all has been remedied. But other than that type of a technical violation, they are a very law-abiding establishment, not creating any problem in the neighborhood. And as you can see from the 5 people that are certified, they've done all that they can do to make sure that.
Can you get us
they
copies
abide
of
by.
those for the record?
I will. I'll provide them to the board, so you have them in your file. I'd ask the board to temper their fines in this matter. It's a very small establishment that's only open till 12 o'clock. They don't do a lot of business, and any type of significant fine poses a severe economic
This
impact.
is his first violation.
Since 2012, yes. And this is, first real violation. The other ones were paperwork.
2012 was the charter of
LLC
not in good
charter.
standing.
Right.
That's correct.
Which
It
they
was-
probably didn't pay the $300 to do the
That's absolutely-
renewal,
yes.
right?
Exactly.
Okay,
That's
that happens a
technical-
lot.
Technical oversight.
A lot of people don't know they're supposed to pay. I don't know, all these people get these LLCs, and then every year they got to renew them for $300, and they.
Mr. Chairman, you're in the real estate, do a lot of title work. It's a big problem with people put them in an LLC and then they forget to pay these $300 and then they got to renew them
And then they
have
want to
to pay it.
transfer them. It's got to be transferred at the assessed value, and, yeah, I know, okay.
Go back a
That's
number
whole
of
nother
years.
thing.
One at a time
He's
for the
going
court
crazy
reporter.
Yep, so-
Okay, he can go crazy. It's late in the afternoon.
Question, though, you said the employee records were kept in another location. What does that mean?
Where were the employee records? They were, I believe, they were.
Eso no es verdad. The ley te queda paper de chino chua da night. And I don't
They
know
have an
whether-
administrative person that had the records with them.
In another building?
No, the same. And
The
kids
same
here
building.
somewhere,
He
she
just
put it
didn't know exactly
See,
where she had put them.
See what's happening now? He's talking and you're talking,
All right.
and then the transcript is muddled. So I need you to talk one at a time.
Just you.
Yeah, they were kept in the building, but he could not put his hands on them immediately.
Madam Secretary, any 311 complaints?
No, the only issue that's probably outstanding is in regards to, I think he needs to do his good standing again, and I think I sent a letter to the licensee in regards to that issue. So that's it. That's the only other outstanding issue that we have.
He's not in good standing right now?
He needs to resolve that. I believe he was sent a letter in regards to that issue, and that was brought up by a community member.
He would continue to operate as the majority member of the LLC.
Oh, I know. His liability shield is down.
Right.
That's all we have, Mr. Chairman.
I would say first fine,
Yeah, first
500.
Yeah,
500,
it's got to be. Yeah, 500, no suspension.
no suspension.
It's his first violation, counsel. It's the minimum.
Yeah,
is
it's
500.
I understand.
Yeah, that's what it is.
All right.
But
500.
I appreciate him getting people certified in the bar. That shows a positive force for the community. But also, people should know that this type of license, they should stop drinking at 12:30, period.
That's exactly what they've done.
So just for the clarity of the record,
Yep.
that's a fine of $500 plus 125 administrative, due in 30 days for all 3 counts. Would that be correct? Guilty,
Yes.
3 all?
Yes.
Thank you
Yes.
very much, Mr.
Okay.
Chairman. I
Good luck.
Good luck, good luck, good luck. How many trees do you kill a week?
Lots.
Lots of trees.
Keeping you awake? Such a delightful experience.
Wonderful day. We'll talk about it in the back.
In the room. You made it quicker than the previous one.
Yeah. Melvin likes
Melvin likes the long drawn.